melt is when I'm ocean waves.
Today on Nova Legends podcast, I have new Freedom-Woodbridge coach, Mike Harris, a guy who created a lot of havoc here in Northern Virginia at Lee Springfield in the 90s. Took one team to the state semifinals with Val Brown, great team. I know you almost got to another one. There was a half-court shot in there somewhere that Chris Gooden reminded me of. But anyway, just did a terrific job after coming up here from, I believe, San Antonio. And Coach, thanks for doing this.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Oh, of course. Yeah. So first of all, how was your Thanksgiving yesterday?
It was wonderful. You know, it's always good to spend time with family and friends, and you know, get a little break from the daily grind.
Yeah. But you know, the season's almost upon us. Are you getting excited? I mean, I know you've been an assistant coach. You've been helping others out for the last, I think, 10 years or so. But you know, now you're back in charge again. Are you getting excited about getting started?
Oh, absolutely. That's it's always good when you're doing something that you love and you know have passion for. And you know, I've been around this game for a long time, and it's been very good to me. And you know, we're happy to be back, as you say, be in charge.
do you enjoy being an assistant coach?
It was a learning experience. You know, I was fortunate right out of college to get a head coaching job at the high school level, and you know, did that for a while in San Antonio, and then I spent 1 year as an assistant out in Vegas, and then at Tennessee State, and then been head coach at Lee for a long time. So I didn't have a whole lot of experience coming up through the ranks, as a lot of guys do, and you know, it was a learning experience. Especially the last 5 years at the high school level, because I wasn't used to being in that position. And, you know, fortunately I work with and for, you know, some great guys that, you know, allowed me to learn that, where a lot of these guys, they were assistant coaches coming up and then got an opportunity. Mine was kind of in reverse.
Yeah. Well, speaking of assistant coaches, you have two incredible players on your staff. You probably have more as well. But Chris Gooden, who scored a lot of points for you, I guess he was classified like 2002 or so, and Kobe, he played at Radford, and then Kobe Turner, the Cobra, who had a great career at Dayton as well. I know they're helping you out. It must be a lot of fun working with your former players.
Yes, always. Kobe coached with me at Lee my last 4 or 5 years, and he and Bobby Huntley were on my staff. I've had about 4 or 5 former players on the staff, and also have another excellent assistant who used to be assistant on the girls team at Lee when they went to state, and she coached as an assistant at Freedom for a long time, and that's Ty Babineau.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so she's part of the staff. So I got 3 top-notch assistants that that work with me. Nobody ever works for me. They just work with me.
That's right. Yeah, it's the best way to be. Well, Coach, when you were doing your thing back in the 90s, you know, you played a little bit differently than most teams. You're definitely up tempo. Your big men shot outside shots. I mean, you guys played really quickly. You know, the game has changed, but a lot of people play like you guys used to play 40 years ago. So is it interesting to you now coming back to it as a head coach, and the way you always played is not atypical of what you see out here anymore?
Well, you know, it's basketball, and you know, we made adjustments at Lee as well as we did in Texas based on personnel, because you just can't make everybody fit that style. Kobe's group was a lot different than Chris and Val's group and the subsequent groups that followed them. And you know, right now I'm blessed to have you know, some guys that are real eager to win and be successful. I got a couple of outstanding guards, and have some great complementary players. So it should be an entertaining season. You know, it's just a matter of how soon we can kind of mesh all this together. You know, I'm brand new. I'm new to them. They're new to me, and you know, we're still going through those growing pains right now.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm sure you'll get it there, Coach. So, you know, being an assistant and just, you know, being around the game, and we're always learning. Do you think you'll be a very different coach than you were back then? Are there things that do you see differently these days, or you feel differently about the game?
I feel the same about the game, but obviously the game is always changing.
Mhm.
It's always, evolution. Now you got, as you mentioned earlier, you got more people shooting from the outside. I was fortunate to have guys like Chris and Kobe who could play inside out, where everybody thinks they can do that, but it takes a certain skill set. And um, the fact that you see guys pull up shooting threes, where it used to be a fast break would be getting a layup. Now it's a transition three. So if you have guys that can fulfill that, okay, you'll trade um, 10 threes for 10 twos any day. But you got to shoot a good percentage also. I think when you're getting rhythm threes are much better than just force threes, obviously. And I think every basketball coach will agree with that.
Yeah, and also helps to have a guy like Bobby Huntley getting those offensive rebounds too, because they're sometimes the threes they come out, they can get those offensive rebounds and lay them back up, and you're back in your full court press.
Yeah, so you got to have somebody that's there to willing to do the little things, and it's something that we preach every day at practice, that little things will get you beat, and little things will win big games for you. So the team that does the little things, get on the floor, play defense, and mainly talk on defense, and be there for each other. Because another saying we have every day: your best ability is accountability and availability.
Yeah. Well, Coach, is this your first time working in Prince William County?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How's it been so far? I know it's early days. I know you coached at Lee and a few other places as an assistant. So far, how do you like it? And more specifically, what's Freedom like? What's the feel in the school?
Actually, it's been nothing but positive. Everybody's welcomed us with open arms, and the kids have been great. Um, Getting to meet the people in the community, the families, the parents, the teachers, administrators. Everything has been real positive, and that's great. That's made it a lot easier. Because when you're going into a new situation, you don't quite know what to expect, and yeah, everything's been received real well, and our best hope is to continue off the excitement and the momentum that the football team has provided so far. And they're doing well, and we got a couple guys that are out there that we'd be excited to get their energy and bring that championship energy to the programming, try to keep it rolling.
Can that be a challenge? I know I went to Robinson, and a lot of people would argue that sometimes having a great football program can take away from the basketball program. Like the people say it's tough to win at Robinson, even though we've had our winning spells. Can it be a distraction when you have such a great football team as Freedom is?
No, I don't think so. I just think it's just the way you perceive it. It's a thing where if you have a good football team, and they kind of football usually sets the tone during the year for the school. It gets kids excited. They feel part of it, and it brings, when you have a winning team and you have some guys, because see, some years we didn't have guys that played football that were varsity players, like when Kobe and those guys played. And then when you have guys that are coming from there, they're used to winning, and that can kind of filter through the entire school, and it'll help other programs because it brings an excitement. Those guys coming from football usually bring a different type of toughness. But the flip side is that during this time, it gives some other guys opportunities to develop, or we can develop some depth, find some guys that we didn't know had that ability, because now they're kind of thrust to the forefront, and so they're going to have to fulfill a role, and hopefully that makes us stronger. Because we're not waiting for this guy or that guy, but it gives them time to work their way in, to where instead of whenever their season ends, we don't want it to be where we need that guy to play the next night. We want to be able to give him, some time to get acclimated, because that's going to be a new situation for them. And these other guys, we done had a couple of months head start.
Have you met Coach Overton yet? Who's done a tremendous job. I understand he's great with the youth programs with football, and he's been able to take the program to another level.
Absolutely. He's been a big source of information and help. And, I'm one of his biggest fans now. I had opportunity to go out and watch the first days of practice, and, been to a bunch of games and been to practice, and, he and I communicate a lot. He's also the girls basketball coach as well.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's the girls basketball coach. We kind of work close on everything, and making sure that, we coordinate everything between both programs. But now I'm his biggest fan. I hope that they can go ahead and finish the deal. We wish that if we're going to do it, wish we could have done it last week, but we'll ride it out. And I think it's great for the school, and I'm excited for the kids.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about your team. I don't remember how Freedom did last year. What do you have coming back? I know you're excited about a couple of your players, but tell us a little bit about your team.
Well, we got I think we got about 5, maybe 6 guys coming back off of last year's team. They had a good season last year. Unfortunately, got upset in the district tournament, and kind of ended their season early. But we have, like I said, a couple top-notch guards coming back at real excited about. And they've been great leaders through the fall practices and what have you, and expect that to continue. And I told them the greatest measure of how good they are is how much better they make the other guys, because they're going to draw a lot of attention to folks, and I think they're up for the challenge.
Yeah. Well, one thing I remember you did a lot of at Lee is you were willing to give freshmen and sophomores a chance at varsity. You got some young players you think you'll be able to use right away?
I've got one freshman right now, but he was with us in the fall. But I think one of the biggest problem with him on this is that the guards that are in front of him are all juniors. So it would be kind of tough to find a lot of playing time for a freshman guard on the varsity level. But he's done a good job for us in the fall leagues. He played well, and I think he'll be better served getting a lot of minutes on the JV, because the one thing we have is a lot of guards. Now, forwards and inside guys, we're still a work in progress, but we're pretty set as far as guards go.
Yeah. Well, how about the do you know the coaches very well in the area? I know, obviously, I know Sherman Rivers really well. I know Barry Smith at Hilton really well. I met Randall Bills at Freedom. I think they're is there 2 Prince William conferences, or it's all one conference now? I can't remember.
I believe it's 2, because you got Battlefield, I think that where Bills is at.
Yeah.
And you got the district that we're all in.
Yeah, Potomac and Hilton and Garfield and Woodbridge.
I've known Barry for a while.
Good dude.
And I remember Barry back when he was assistant over at Hayfield.
Yeah.
And, new guy over at Potomac I've gotten to know real well, and Coach Mills, and I've had some nice conversations with the gentleman over at Colgan. And as far as everybody else, Courtney over at Woodbridge, I've known Courtney for a while, and the name escapes me of the guy over at Garfield. Yeah. But the ironic part, we got in so late, we weren't able to have a summer camp, and my grandson went to everybody's camp around here. He was at Garfield. He's been going to Garfield camp for about 3, 4 years. He's been going to Woodbridge's camp for 3 years. He went to Potomac camp, and he went to Forest Park's camp. So all the guys in our district, my grandson has been at their basketball camps in the summer, which is, you know, he just loves basketball. So, you know, it's kind of funny. I said he's my scout. So
Now they hope. Now he hopes granddad
yeah,
beats their butt.
yeah.
And gets a little.
He comes over and he gives me all the intel on the camp, and I was like, you know, good job.
Exactly. They're not going to let him in next year. What about the schedule for this year? What do you got for non-conference? Any particular tests that you've circled, or and how's your schedule generally?
I think they're all going to be a test. You know, this way you got to go out and play the games. We'll start off over at West Springfield.
Dermia.
They're doing an event for Carol Lawson on the 2nd.
Oh,
So
right.
it's a boy-girl doubleheader. So we're excited to be part of that, and I think we have a pretty tough one the next week. We play against Tacoma Academy, so they're pretty loaded. So it'll be an excellent test for us, and see if what we can do with those. But I think we have a really good schedule. Obviously your district games are always going to be tough because of just the proximity and his district, you know, and everybody gets up a little bit more. But our non-conference is pretty tough as well.
But there's no nights off in Prince William County. I mean, everybody can play. Everybody's athletic. Everybody's well coached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much for the entire area. You know, high school basketball is gotten a lot better. You know, as far as quality of coaching and the kids. You know, just the competitive nature of the game. But it's always fun, and that's why, you know, we're still trying to find our way and stay active and stay with it, because it's you know, it's the best game in the world.
Yeah. Well, you still look, I know you're a granddad, but you haven't aged at all. Maybe it's because you keep your hair so close, but you look like you can still go out there and do it. Now, I know as any good coach, you're going to tell me you're going to take one game at a time. But if you had to set some realistic goals for this your first season, what would those goals be?
Well, the one thing I've tried to tell the guys is that if we're playing in March, we've had a really good season, and only the best are playing there. And I've got a couple guys that are just super competitive, and I love that fact about them, to where we lost a fall league game in September, and these guys were very upset. You know, it was like, okay, guys, I love it, but let's tamp it down a little bit. Just make sure we're using that once we get into the real deal. But it's a thing where I've made this deal with teams forever, is that they get all the wins, I get the losses, and I want your number to be higher than mine. So so if you're 10 more than me, 20 more than me, that's great, because I'll take the L's and you get the W's. And so hopefully our guys have a lot on their side, a lot of numbers on their side, and mine is very small.
Yeah, there you go. Well, coach, it's great to have you back. You bring excitement to the game. I don't know if Prince William County is ready for you, but you're here. But last question, coach. If I come out of retirement and referee a game, are you going to be nice to me?
Absolutely. 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 You know, it's a thing where we want our guys to have each other's back, and I want those kids to know I have their back. And you know, I got to be their advocate. I'm gonna be their biggest supporter. And I've always appreciated every kid that's played, you know, in the programs that I've had in Texas and here in Virginia. And this it's kind of like why today, being the day after Thanksgiving, you know, obviously we're not going to practice on Thanksgiving, and usually we've never practiced the day after Thanksgiving, because I always stress the importance of kids being with their families. You know, spend time with your families, uh, show the appreciation for all the effort, the love, the sacrifices, the support that the families give, because sometimes it's forgotten. You know, they make it possible to go to all those youth league games, go to those AAU games, summer league, fall league, and what have you. And I just think it's a great thing to, you know, sit down and say, hey, mom, dad, grandma, whoever it be, thank you, and you know, spend some time with your family. You know, it's we had a great dinner last night, and you know, just hung out with the kids and aunts and uncles and the whole 9 yards, and it's a good thing to get to relax sometimes, but you know, we'll try to get a kick back up into full gear come Monday. I mean, we got an optional thing tomorrow, those that are in town, because I know some kids travel, some parents travel and what have you. So those that are available can come get some shots up tomorrow, but then we got to hit the ground running on Monday because we open up on Friday.
Okay, right, yeah. Well, yeah, you can give them a couple of days off because after this weekend, they're yours. I mean, it's gonna be a busy it's gonna be a busy few months, and yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna go over. You know, Dermot used to play for me when I coached.
Okay.
I was a summer league coach, one of the toughest kids I ever coached, even though one of the most talented kids. And but they're and anyway, I just can't wait to see what you do this year, Coach. I know you're going to do great, and thanks for doing this. And hopefully we can talk again during the season.
Well, I appreciate you for asking me, and you know, keep doing a great job you're doing, and it's helping to promote basketball in this area, and I think that need more things like that. More, you know, where folks know what's going on in the area, and get these kids some exposure, because it can go a long way in helping them get to the next level, and whether they play beyond college, you know, yeah, things have to fall a certain way, but you know, just to bring some notoriety, and I know that myself and some of the other coaches definitely appreciate what you do.
Oh well, thanks for saying that, and you know, it's my pleasure. I love, as you know, I love the game, and you know, every year is a new puzzle. I mean, who's going to arise? What young kids are going to rise? We got new coaches. We got a lot of new coaches that got thrown into the mix. So you know, Hayfield's on top, Patriots on top, and you know, we're gonna see how it all plays out.
Exactly. That's why you got to play the games. But once again, thank you for having me. And good luck to you this year.
Yeah, you too, Coach. I'll be in. I'll see you at West Springfield.